Let off some steam, film shrapnel. Welcome everybody to Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. Arnold season. I'm joined here today with Tobias and Craig. They are really good fans of my work, and I'm very happy to be in Film Shrapnel. How many times are you going to do this kind of intro, you guys? I don't know. Until I can't do it anymore. Until I bore myself. Well, I understand.
I think we should keep doing it. I think it should be like every episode, not just for Arnie season.
Yeah, we do The Godfather Part 3. Let's do it. I love this movie. You know what? We were going to talk about Commando today, but instead we're going to do Godfather Part 3. Arnold Schwarzenegger's opinions of Godfather Part 3. It's pretty shit. First two are way better.
And you're not in it, so it's even shitter.
Of course, it's the only way to be improved.
That would be interesting, actually. We could have an episode where we just insert Arnold Schwarzenegger into random movies and improve them.
Could you imagine, like, Don Corleone played by Schwarzenegger? You made me laugh or I could refuse. Or maybe he could play Michael. Back then he was quite young. He could have been Michael.
Could have been, yeah, in the 70s.
Don't ask me about my business. You bitch.
He's really, at the beginning of the movie, yeah, he's super hench because he's just got back from the army. So that explains why he's like massive all of a sudden.
I'd buy that. Like if Arnold Schwarzenegger remade Godfather, that's like maybe the only conditions I would accept a Godfather remake. If Arnold Schwarzenegger did it. Well, hello everyone, it's Film Shrapnel time. We're talking about Commando today. This is one of my all-time favourite Arnie movies. Had you ever seen it before, Craig?
I hadn't actually. I'd heard of it a million times, never watched it till this time.
So, like, I can't wait to hear what you think. Because obviously Rambo is like, so besides Rocky, it's Stallone's big thing. And this is basically Arnie's version of, you know, what an Arnie version of Rambo might look like, almost. And this came out the same year as Rambo 2 as well.
I didn't know that. I didn't even make the connection with Rambo, to be honest. But now you said it, now I totally get it.
Well, funny enough, there is a line in it where I forget his name in Commando, Cook, but he also plays Mac in Predator. But
yeah.
It's the guy who shaves without a beard.
Yeah, it's I looked him up. It's Bill Duke.
Yeah, that's his name.
He's in lots of things. He's also a director, by the way. I found looking him up on. Yeah, he directed some good stuff actually, but I can't remember what he did. I'll have a little sneaky look actually. But he directed.
What did he direct?
Hold on. I think he directed Sister Act.
Shit.
Hold on. Directed Deep Cover and the musical comedy Sister Act 2. And I think he directed some other stuff as well, like even some Twilight Zone stuff. Yeah. And so he's also a director as well. Very cool guy. He's 81 now, by the way. He's super old. He's got a really good screen presence, that guy. Really good.
Great. But I will say, he makes a reference to Rambo. Like, or at least it's speculated. Because he goes, he says something about this Green Beret is going to kick your big ass. And then Arnie goes, I eat Green Berets for breakfast and I'm very hungry. But obviously Rambo is a Green Beret, so it's speculated that that's like a little dig from Arnie to Stallone.
But was there any real beef between Arnie and Stallone, really?
Yeah.
Was there?
Yeah, huge. Because of the thing is, Arnie, he explains this in his book. I keep referring to his book, Total Recall. Really good book, like, or at least interest. But he mentions in his book how, like, being a bodybuilder, he had this mentality of, like, opponents. Like, and he would psych people out in bodybuilding. He'd be saying to them, oh, you're not looking great today, mate, sort of thing, get in their head. So, like, he would be better on stage or whatever. So like he is very competitive. He likes to have someone to go up against, and allegedly he chose Stallone. Basically, like when if Arnie does like a movie about a robot, Stallone ends up doing a movie about a robot. There's a myth amongst Hollywood that the only reason Stallone did the movie Stop or My Mum Will Shoot, which is notoriously terrible, is because Arnold Schwarzenegger managed to float the fake rumor to Stallone that Arnie was going to do it. So Stallone made sure he got. But obviously, it's a really bad movie that no one liked, and that at least Arnie has claimed that he basically tricked Stallone into making a bad movie because they're so competitive. But then obviously they eventually put their rivalry aside and they opened Planet Hollywood together, and they've done movies since like Expendables and Escape Plan. So like they're mates now, but yeah, they hated each other back in the day. And it's mostly because of how competitive Arnie is. Like I reckon Stallone would have been fine, but it's like Arnie's like basically calling him out all the fucking time. It's like, well, what does this guy want from me? I don't know. So like, yeah, Stallone got competitive back. But I suppose not only did it trick them into doing bad films, but they've also made some stellar action films as well. So. Arnie more so than Stallone. But Stallone, I mean, Rocky, I would say, is my favourite film franchise ever. I think Rocky's amazing. I love Rocky. So
we should do it at some point.
Oh, I'd love to do Rocky with you, Craig. I'd love to do Rocky with you.
How many films are there now? Like 13 or something, at least?
No. Including the Creed films, it's 9.
Ah, okay.
But without the Creed films, it's only 6. But I don't love the Creed films. I think the first Creed film was all right, but then the sequels I wasn't huge.
All right, we should do them sometime for sure. So yeah, this film I actually really liked it. Surprisingly, Commando. I liked how short it was. I liked the direction they took it in as well, because like pretty much at the beginning, like. They established that he has a fucking amazing relationship with his daughter. Good on you, Arnie. You're a good dad. And then his daughter gets kidnapped.
I always love seeing fatherly Arnie, like in Jingle All the Way as well. Like seeing Arnie be like just a normal dude. Just who happens.
But he's not a normal dude, though. He's like the best fucking dad ever.
Well, yeah, he's
like super fun.
Yeah, But before they introduce the daughter, they do shoot him like close up on like just all the hugely masculine elements of his body, and he's carrying a fucking tree with one arm, and the music's pretty good as well. Like it's a bit of a unique soundtrack for an action film, but it was like Steel Pan, like a Steel Pan medley, but it's really cool.
Yeah, I was also kind of surprised by that. Still, like, I always think of Steel Pan more of like a '90s thing, not so much an '80s thing. I felt, they're a bit early here. I actually looked at the guy who did the music. His name is James Horner, and he also did he's done a lot of music for a lot of other movies. He even did the music for Avatar and Titanic, so he's worked with James Cameron and everything. He's done a lot. I was quite surprised to see that, by the way. But he died sadly.
There are other people in this movie that have worked with James Cameron as well.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Arnie has worked with him.
Yes.
Terminator and True Lies. But there's another actor in this movie. I don't know if you spotted him, Craig, but there's an actor in this movie that is in both Terminator and True Lies and is a main character in Titanic. And you should know who it is. Huh?
Who?
It's fucking Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton has like a 2-second character in this.
Okay, I missed that. Who does he play? I didn't see him.
He's the air traffic controller that talks to them when they first take off in their plane on the way to the island for the final fight.
Ah.
So he's in it for a split second. But to be fair, he's only in Terminator for a split second as well. But he then became friendly with James Cameron, who obviously ended up casting him in Aliens and Titanic. So his star rose after this. But he is in Terminator and Titanic. He's in 3 Arnie movies. Because True Lies as well, he's a bigger character. I really like True Lies. I wouldn't mind doing True Lies with you at some point. Maybe not this Arnie season, next Arnie season.
Next Arnie season. Arnie season will come back. You know what else I dug up while looking at this movie?
Go for it.
The screenplay is written by a guy called Stephen E. D'Souza, who's also, he wrote The Running Man, also Die Hard and Judge Dredd. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
He's done quite a few. I think there's even more that he's done that you'd recognise.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is based on a comic book called, but only very loosely, called Sergeant Rock. And apparently Arnie wanted to do a Sergeant Rock movie, but I don't know how true these claims are.
No idea.
I think Stephen D'Souza is involved with comics as well. I'm pretty sure I've seen his name attached to some comic books.
Not sure. I only recognise his name and looked it up. But yeah, interesting amount of people in this movie. Interesting.
Yes.
I also, you know what else I quite liked early on that they established, which they don't usually do in Arnie movies? I like that they made it very clear from the beginning that Arnie is supposed to be East German. They said something like when he was growing up, rock and roll was seen as a bad thing in East Germany or something. And I like that because in a lot of Arnie movies, they don't establish. He's just a random guy with an English name who's absolutely massive. He's just an American. He's normal American. There's nothing strange about the way he talks. They also did this in what we watched recently, Stay Hungry. They immediately said he's Austrian. They're explaining it. They're giving some context behind him, which I quite liked. I thought that was cool.
I suppose that was always something from the early Arnie films. Is what excuse are they going to provide for the accent? Even in Predator, they don't explicitly give a reason, but they do give him the name Dutch, and we can assume that that's a nickname that the other characters give him because he's from Holland. We just assume there's no explicit explanation for it, but it is there, just in the character's name, so you don't need to question. And there's a few others like that. I don't think Running Man they explain. I think he's just American. And the same with Total Recall as well. He's just American.
Yeah.
And again, Terminator. Why would you give him that? If he's a designed robot, why would you give him that accent? He's meant to be an infiltration unit, but he sounds different to all the other humans in America. So how is he a successful infiltration unit?
Yeah. Well, it's because AI built him. That's why.
Yeah, the AI, of course. So back to Commando. The little girl, Jenny, did you recognise her?
I saw that she's been in other things from what I saw on Wikipedia, but no.
It's Alyssa Milano.
Yeah. What's she been in?
Charmed. She was huge in Charmed.
I remember Charmed, yeah.
She's now 51.
Well, Arnie's what? Almost, he must be getting, I was going to say getting close to 80.
But also Bennett, he's not the main bad guy, but he's the main physical threat. He's dressed as Freddie Mercury.
Man, I could not take him seriously throughout this film as a bad guy.
His clothes are tight. He's got a metal mesh vest, a chainmail vest. What? Who wears that? And
go on.
Do you recognise him?
I don't think I've seen him in anything.
Have you seen Mad Max 2, the best Mad Max movie?
Oh, he's in this as well, is he?
He's in Mad Max 2.
Uh-huh. Well,
It's really the only thing I know.
to be honest, he was really. I just couldn't take. Like, he's like a fat nerd who thinks he's like super badass. Like, if they were to remake this movie as a comedy, he'd be played by Danny McBride for sure. Danny McBride would be perfect for him.
Yeah.
Can't you just see it?
Yeah, I'd buy that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Just give Danny McBride like a goatee and a curly mullet, and then you have him. It's just.
Apparently, he was a last minute step in for the role. Apparently, they had someone else play him, and on day one, the director hated him, so he got fired, and they got him in.
Ooh.
And allegedly, this is why his clothes are too tight for him. I don't know if it's just an excuse for bad wardrobe departments, but allegedly.
And it's also like, I just can't see him being a threat to Arnie.
No,
he
not
just
even
doesn't
when they're
have the physical
fighting.
stature. Yeah.
No. This is it. Like the problem you have in Arnie films is, how do you get someone to be a credible threat and like have them fight each other? You need someone bigger than Arnie, and there's not many people that are. So it's like, yeah, it's tough to find. But then, like, in movies like this, you just put him up against an army. Like the final climax. I mean, I'm skipping ahead a bit, but the final climax of this film is just one man against an entire army, and he fucking batters the shit out of them. Like, and he gets away with just a bullet wound to one arm, and that's it, done. And he's fine. He's fine. He's still carrying shit at the end of the movie with bullet wounds. Like, someone said to me at work, who's a big fan of this film, they were like, "This film is like you're playing Grand Theft Auto with all the cheats, so all the weapons cheats, infinite life, and all this, and you can just jump in any car you want and just drive around, because that's what he does do in this movie." So yeah, some of my friends have likened this film to Grand Theft Auto, but you're actually a good guy instead of a mafioso or whatever.
Just a fucking psychopath driving around killing people.
Yeah.
I get that comparison.
Let's like whiz through the movie real quick. So basically, the general plot: Arnie's like a retired mercenary type, and he's like retired. He's dedicated his life to like raising his daughter, and he's retired. So it's basically John Wick. Like, he's retired, he's out of the game, and then he's dragged back. Someone comes who's like, I need you to do this one last mission, or I'll kill your daughter. And so they put him on a flight to a country called Valverde, which is a fictional country, obviously. But this is not the only movie that features Valverde as a country. Bit of interesting trivia. Valverde is a go-to Hollywood fictional South American country, so they can do shit there without running the risk of like political backlash. So it's meant to be like representing like I don't know, like Nicaragua or Cuba or somewhere like that.
I think it's supposed to be usually like somewhere in Central Asia. Sorry, Central America.
Yeah,
like
absolutely, yeah. So, but obviously it's to avoid political kickback. But I'll tell you, Predator is set in Valverde, or at least they mention Valverde. And Die Hard 2, they talk about Valverde as well. So on that basis, we could have a team-up movie of all the Predator gang, all Matrix from Commando, and John McClane from Die Hard in one movie. I'm all for that. All for that. So they're told, you're going to get on this flight, it's 11 hours. And he knows, whether he does the mission or not, his daughter's dead anyway. So he knows, right, I'm going to kill the guy I'm on the plane with. Jump off a moving plane. By the way, they wanted him to do that for real, because they couldn't find stunt doubles his size. Jump off a moving plane, and then he has 11 hours to find his daughter before they realise he's not on the plane and kill her. and then
Mm-hmm.
the movie just sort of goes from there, where it's a race against the clock to find his daughter. And that's the general setup to the plot. Now, Craig, again, have you seen The Warriors?
No, I haven't.
So Sully, the character Sully, he is played by the bad guy in The Warriors, the guy who is famous for going, "Warriors, come out to play." That guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's Sully in this, and I just love where, because he said something. I forget the joke he makes, but he says something at the airport to Arnie, and Arnie goes, "You're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. That's why I'm going to kill you last." And then when he gets off the plane, he hunts Sully down, and like, I'm skipping a huge action scene where it's in a shopping centre, which we might talk about in a minute. But when he catches up to him, he holds him with one arm off the edge of a cliff. And again, apparently the director wanted Arnie to do this for real, and Arnie was like, "Are you mental? He'll die. I can't do that." So they reluctantly had to like get a crane involved and go a bit over budget. But like, Arnie's attitude is, but like, I don't know if anyone can hold a human being with one hand upside down.
Over a fucking cliff.
Let alone over a cliff. So he's holding him over the cliff. He gets the information he wants. And then he says, "Do you remember when I told you I'd kill you last?" "That's right, Matrix. You did." "I lied." And he just fucking drops him. It's one of my all-time favourite Arnie moments. I love this moment where it's just "I lied," and then his scream on the way down is really weird. He's like, "Oh!" It's a really weird scream. I love this moment. I love this moment. But before this, they have this thing where he befriends a woman and basically coerces her into helping him track down Sully in order to find information about the daughter. And we get this huge fight scene in the Galleria. Funny enough, Craig, this is the same Galleria from Terminator 2, where the T-1000's trying to get John Connor. Same
you know what it
Galleria.
reminded me? It reminded me of we're talking about the mall, right?
Yeah.
The big mall. It reminded me of Jingle All the Way. That one, actually.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
See, I don't know.
Maybe it's just because...
It might be. It might be. I know it's in T2. But maybe Jingle All the Way as well. But he literally rips a phone booth out of a wall while Sully's panicking and trying to call them. And
lifts it over his head and throws it. Yeah.
Well, so this is the thing. Arnie, there's a lot of things that he was asked to do stunt-wise in this film, and he refused to do a lot of stuff. But one of the things he wanted to do that they wouldn't let him do, he was like, "I'm pretty sure I can pick up a normal phone booth and throw it in the same way." They're like, no, we're going to make a fake one that's really light. But he wanted to do it for real. So it's weird where their priorities were. The bits that were like life-threatening, they were like, "Oh, can't you do that for yourself?" But like, the things that they're like, "Oh, I can do that," they're like, "No, it's too dangerous."
Yeah.
As if there is a lot to actually hang off a plane.
There is a lot of, apart from that phone booth scene, there's a lot of stuff about him just like having super strength, like moving cars and picking up people and other heavy shit. It's like his super ability basically throughout the movie.
Well, I'll say this: like, when people shoot at him, it's like the bullets. As the bullets get closer, they see who they're being shot at, and they're like, "Fuck, I don't want to deal with that," and they get out of the way because, like, nothing hits him in this, but he's dead pinpoint accurate, and he's against an entire army of people. But I'm skipping ahead in all fairness.
Yeah.
So
we But we've already messed up the plot a lot here, so we can. I don't mind. We can just talk about whatever's on our mind. I think.
To be fair, we have. I wrote one quote down that I'd forgotten because I've seen this film a lot, so I know a lot of the one-liners just off the top of my head. But one that I'd forgotten, the love interest, and I call her a love interest because they actually did shoot a sex scene, but it was deemed so unrealistic that they cut it. So there is meant to be a romance brewing between her and Arnie, but it's not really explored very much. But so the love interest, I forget her name. What was her name? Do you remember her name?
I didn't write her name down.
Yeah, neither did I. Well, she says, this happens and this happens, then this happened, and I helped, I saved this, and now the police are after me. It's like, all of this happens. Are you going to tell me what's going on? He doesn't even look at her, and he just goes, no. And that was it. That's it. Like, he doesn't even humor it at all. It's like, no, I'm not telling you shit. I have to say, though, the bit in the shopping mall where he swings from the ceiling, whoever the stuntman is that they got for that, does not look like Arnold Schwarzenegger at all. Like,
I didn't see.
I'll watch it again.
You've watched this too many times. You're too close to it.
I do. Mate, you know me. I live for Arnie. I live for Arnie. If he bursts through the room now, riding a tank, I'm going with him. But yeah, he cannot be fucking stopped in this movie. He cannot be stopped.
Well, there is a stupid moment where he is stopped. I just couldn't get over. The whole thing with the gun shop, I thought was a bit stupid, to be honest. He basically gets like a fucking digger or something and smashes into a gun shop, and then they start just grabbing guns and then immediately get caught by the police. I thought, this is a bit dumb, no? How is he supposed to even get those guns, like, to South America? And by the way, so they arrest him, and then...
He knows he's going to have to get like a private plane. Like, he knows he's going to have to steal a plane.
Yeah, and it just so happens that the love interest is a pilot.
Yeah, that's quite convenient. But in all fairness, these are airports pre 9/11 and quite a fair bit behind 9/11. Like, it does seem that airport security used to be dog shit back in the day.
There just wasn't security back then.
No, it's just, have a gun, no problem, get on.
Yeah, it's America, why not? But then because she basically explodes the police truck that he's like in the back of, because she kind of gets away, and for some reason she still has the rocket launcher they stole, and she accidentally shoots it the wrong way, blows up a car or something. Then she turns it around and blows up the police van, and then Arnie gets out, and then they go to a plane. Why did they find that plane there? I don't know if there was a reason why there was a plane. Did they know that plane was there? It was like one of those aquatic ones.
Yeah, I think she was the one that sort of knows, because obviously they broke into that fuel, like they find like a pink receipt for a fuel depot, and so they're able to deduce that he must have a private aquatic plane. So they go to there thinking that the plane is there, they'll find him there, when in actuality, for whatever reason, they're able to figure out that Alyssa Milano is on the little island. Like, really convenient, because there's like a set of coordinates right next to a map that just happen to be exactly the right ones that you need. I mean, we will talk about Batman and Robin in the next episode, but there's a very similar moment in Batman and Robin that's way more annoying. So I'll get to that in the next episode. But I will say, when he fights Mac, Hook, I should say. But when he fights Bill Duke, did you watch the version where he like falls back and gets impaled on like a bit of wood?
Yeah, I saw that happen.
Yeah, that was cut from the version I used to watch as a kid.
Oh,
so this must be a director's cut that we watch. Where
or maybe they just made like a...
No, because the or maybe I got the TV edit, but I never saw the guy's arm getting cut off at the end either. You know, where Arnie cuts a guy's arm off. That wasn't in my version when I watched it as a kid. So there is some like additional violent moments. They're really the only two things I noticed that were different though.
Yeah, I think probably those are the two most gruesome moments, I think. There's not really a hell of a lot of blood and guts or anything in this movie.
Goddamn censorship, man. Ruined my childhood.
Yeah, I was thinking, you know, about this film, like just in general. Maybe this is something I should say at the end, but there is something really fun about these kind of movies from this time.
Yeah.
These kind of silly action thriller movies from the 80s. Like and it's just also it's just something that I could just like, it's a summer evening, I'm a kid, I'm on school break, I'm going to have to go back to school till like beginning of September or whatever, and I've got nothing to do but watch shit on TV. And this is like such a great movie that I just watch at nighttime.
Yeah.
Like,
welcome to
it has that great feel to it.
Yeah.
It's a great TV movie for the evening.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you this. Any time an Arnie movie would come on TV when I was growing up, me and my dad would watch it. My brother would when he got old enough, and like, you know, we loved Arnie. I mean, I think I love Arnie more, like, for all of us. I think I've sort of fallen a bit too head over heels for him compared to the rest of the family. But I adore him. And I'm a huge fan of his stuff. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say he's a talented actor in all of his films. But some of his films, it's like, you know what? Yeah, he's actually quite good in this. Like we've actively tried to not talk about Terminator for Arnie season because it's too obvious to do. But he's great in that. Like, he's perfect in that. I wouldn't call him great in this one. Like, he's all sweet at the beginning, and it's kind of hard to buy. And like, I just want to get to the action, and all the action stuff is fun, but like. And I do like his urgency. Like, obviously, he's constantly checking his watch because, like, he's on the clock. I do like his urgency, especially the bit at the beginning where they originally kidnapped his daughter. And they're like, my boss has a plan for you. And if you want to get your daughter back, you're going to do what we say, right? And he just goes, wrong, and shoots him and then chases them. And I'm like, fucking awesome. Like, he is not playing ball with these guys at all. He is like, I'm going to fuck you up.
To add to that, I really like that they didn't just go, because when that happened at the beginning, I just thought, okay, so that's going to be the plot then. He's forced to go to another country, overthrow the government, and then try to save his daughter from the kidnappers. But instead, they went against that, and it's just about him not doing a job that he's been forced to do. Which I thought, okay, that's actually kind of nice, because that's a bit refreshing, because I really thought that the plot was going to be just really super simple, but yeah, you know, they went around it.
I think if you remade this film now, they would likely fall into the trap of like the first half of the movie, him going to Valverde and actually doing the mission. And then when they don't honor their deal to give the daughter back, then the second half of the movie will be about that. And I can imagine them doing that nowadays. But like, back then, back in the 80s, an hour and a half movie, that was like the sort of industry standard of like the most digestible length of time for a movie. Nowadays, it's sort of jumped up to 2 hours. And if you look at like the most popular movies, all these blockbuster movies now, Avengers and all that, they're close to 3 hours. Like, people want to get their money's worth because they're literally waiting for some of these movies to come out. So they end up making them 2.5, 3 hours long. But I'd say 2 hours has now become the industry standard. But back then, they wanted it like nice and succinct, hour and a half, and then you're out of the cinema. You can bring a new set of people in, make money again, like constant turnover. But we have already discussed movie lengths in a previous podcast, if I seem to remember, and I went on a rant like just similar to this. So I won't do that again.
Yeah, but it is always refreshing to get something a bit shorter, more digestible.
Yeah, you can power watch a load of them. Like, this is the thing, you can knock out like half of Arnie's filmography in a day.
But like a
Like,
full day, like 24 hours
Yeah.
straight of watching.
Yeah, you start at 9 a.m. No, you go to bed at midnight. You've pretty much covered half of his movies. And if you start
Pretty
from
much.
the beginning, you've probably watched the best ones as well.
hmm
Because let's be honest, they tail off. Certainly, once he comes back from politics, they tail off. So,
He's
like,
old. No, like he doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
to be fair, though, Terminator 3 was pretty. It's not the worst thing in the world. I think people are harsh on Terminator 3, but it's not good. It's just a good, fun movie. But everyone's miscast in it.
Well, I think with Terminator 3, it just like there was so much expectations of like what was it called? Judgment Day. That something like it'd be really crazy and amazing and like blow your mind, but it wasn't actually very interesting. They could have made it way more fun. I think because there's so much pressure from the first two movies that something big was going to happen. Oh well, that shit happens, unfortunately.
It does happen indeed. Did you notice Arnold Schwarzenegger is so mighty and strong that he can just punch a plane to start it?
Yeah, another example of his super strength.
Exactly. Like a pilot who, is turning knobs and switches. Can't start this plane. So he's just like, turn on, you idiot! Hits it, it starts working. He's so macho, he can start a plane with his fist and bullets are too scared to hit him in this movie.
Yeah, I wrote a note down at one point, brute force your way through anything. This is kind of the mentality of this Arnie movie and many others, I feel. It's just like, you just keep forcing your way through it. Just be super strong and just keep smashing through shit and you'll get to what you want. There's no other way around it.
This is it. I mean, we keep getting... So we haven't mentioned this, but there's like a general that Arnie used to work for who warns him at the beginning of the film. And like he keeps popping up throughout the film in like the aftermath of Arnie's wake. Like he keeps showing up to places that Arnie has been and beaten the shit out of everyone. And he keeps mentioning, like he keeps sort of reinforcing like how fucking brutal Arnie is as a soldier. Like at one point they're like, so what you expecting? And he's like, World War III. And it's like, oh, so like we know one man is that mighty. I looked it up. Apparently his kill count in this film is 81 people. But I feel like it feels more though, don't you think? I think it feels like he's killing a lot more people than 81.
It could be. I mean, like, it's a whole fucking squadron, isn't it, of people?
It's like a small army. It's like a private army, a militia that's going to overthrow a world government. Well, we don't know how powerful a government Valverde is, but we know that they're a democratic one now, and they're going to try and overthrow this new democracy that Arnie helped build. But he's just a one-man army on his own.
I'd be interested to do an episode on Valverde, to be honest, because it's very interesting, this idea of just always using fake Central American countries. I think it's supposed to be based on Honduras, because America really fucked the politics there. Like they had like a kind of communist uprising there, but to prevent that, America was like supporting like a fascist government that was like really oppressive, and I think they were also like on the side smuggling cocaine and shit into America to make extra money. It's just a place for action shit. I think even in Archer they had like one season or something set in somewhere like that. I don't know. But yeah, it's an interesting idea. Anyway, speaking of actually that country, did you notice the leader, the guy who's supposed to be like the president or something, who's trying to get back in control? Did you notice this actor?
Yeah, I've seen him in a few things.
Yeah, his name is Dan Hedaya, and he's been in lots of stuff. And I was like, I started reading up his filmography. It's like, okay, I've seen these things, but where exactly do I recognize him from? And I think I recognize him from my childhood, at least. He's in the Addams Family. Yeah, he's one of the property developers who's trying to try to buy their house and sell it or something. But yeah, it's interesting. To see him play this role.
It also in Adam's Family, the actor who plays Gomez Adams, what was his
Yeah.
name? Raul Julio, is that his name?
Yes. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He was originally meant to be cast as that character in Commando.
Really?
Yeah. And I think he was the first choice. He turned it down. But then the guy who either wrote it, D'Souza, or the director, I forget which one, they went on to do Street Fighter. And obviously they cast Raul Julio in that.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's really fun to watch, that guy.
Yeah.
Passed away way too soon.
To be fair, I think everyone in Commando is good. Like, they're a good laugh, except Bennett.
Yeah, it's so fucking ridiculous.
Bennett's really weird. He's very annoying. And like, okay, so cut a long story short, they get to the island. He blows a load of shit up. They do a distress call, and while the army are on the way, Arnie goes and saves his daughter and kills the fascist dictator, and then he gets into a one-on-one fight with Bennett in the basement. Now, I'm skipping ahead. I want to talk about this fight because, believe it or not, they originally planned this whole chase sequence like on a boat, I think, and they were going to end up having a one-on-one confrontation on the beach, but they just ran out of money, so they had to do the fight scene in a cramped basement. And allegedly, this entire fight scene is improvised, right? Apparently, Arnie might have even stabbed himself by accident and needed stitches in this fight scene. Yeah. So this fight, they have this whole thing where Bennett's got him at gunpoint. Bennett's won. He's won. And Arnie's like, come on, Bennett. You don't understand me. You want to put a knife in me. Turn it. See it in my eyes as you turn it. And it's like, and then Bennett's all like, literally looks like he's jizzing himself in his pants. Like, yeah. I'm not exaggerating. He is like orgasmic in his face. Just like, it's like Arnie's giving him dirty talk, talking about slowly twisting the knife in me and all this. And it just becomes so homoerotic. And yeah, like there's dirty talk with the knife. And you can't help but feel that the way Arnie wins is by penetrating him. He throws a big pipe at him, and then and it impales him on like a steam thing, so he can have the line, "Let off some steam, Bennett." Great line, great one-liner. I love those. I love those. But it also does look like something white is being expelled from his body after the fight. I don't know. I found this fight scene, improvised as it may be, very homoerotic, and it may have been totally accidental, but I feel like it was on purpose. It's just too. It's really on the surface, I think.
I don't know. I completely agree that it's super homoerotic, but I don't know if it was meant to be that way or accidentally ended up that way. But if it did accidentally end up that way, it's a bit too much, isn't it, to end up that way by accident?
So homoerotic that I find it hard to believe it's not intentional.
Yeah.
But then if it is intentional, totally. What's the purpose? Like, you haven't discussed this at all throughout the film. So if you want to make like a statement, like, great, but I think you're right. I think it's just an accident. I don't know. It's weird. Very odd choice.
Super. But you know, do you know what they did say though early on, that Bennett was kicked out of his unit? Maybe. Arnie is a homophobe and kicked him out for being gay.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that, Craig. Oh, it's interesting. Because the Arnie's not really a good guy at that point. I kind of like that, Craig. I think you've made this movie a bit better for me. You've made that final fight better for me.
Yeah,
I,
but it's,
I,
I don't know. I think they were trying to make it like he's such a psychopath that the idea of stabbing him in
gets
the
along.
head, yeah, but yeah, it doesn't work like that, really.
I will say, Craig, I'm really disappointed that this isn't a franchise of films. Like, I would love to have had like there must be an alternate reality where this was bigger than Terminator, so this got like 50 sequels, John Matrix movies.
Matrix is such a stupid name.
I know, but it's like 80s action. It's kind of perfect for 80s action. John Matrix. He used to work for them, but now they have his daughter. And that's just the first one. Like, the second one would be Commando 2, Enter the Matrix. And so I'll tell you what this is. This is Taken, isn't it? It's just Taken.
I was also thinking about Taken, yeah. It's basically
I do
Taken.
like Taken. See, now this is the thing. Is this better than Taken? I would say Taken might be better. But this one's more fun.
I haven't seen Taken.
What? You're joking. It's great. It's really good. I can't believe it. Oh, we've got to watch Taken at some point. It's great. Let's do a Neeson season.
We can discuss it. Maybe I'll watch the first one and we'll see how it goes. How many did they make? Like three at least.
They've made 3 I know of, but like the sequels aren't good. The first one's good.
Okay.
I will say one thing, and I reckon Arnie would have been upset with it. So Arnie's gone on record to say that he really enjoyed working on this film, mainly because he wasn't like just a killing machine from the get-go. Like, he is a family man. He is like a normal human outside of like his past. And he liked this idea of playing a character like this. Although, let's be honest, we only really see it in 2 scenes, the beginning and the end. They're very, like, it's rare that him and Jenny share any screen time besides the beginning and the end.
That's true.
So he liked the idea of not having to be naked for once. But obviously, at the end, they unnecessarily make him row a boat to the island from the plane in nothing but a set of Speedos. And then he gets dressed on the island. And it's like, well, surely you could have done that on the plane and then rowed the boat out.
Yeah.
But they just want to get
that was a bit unnecessary. Well, like, really they want to get their money's worth.
This is the thing. Everyone wants to see the bod, innit? Like, you know, at the time, there was no one that looked like him. There was no one with a body like that. So, yeah, I suppose it was part of the spectacle. That, you know, seeing the pecs, seeing the biceps and all that. But when they realise that he's not in Valverde, the bad guy gives the order to Bennett to kill Jenny. And I wrote in my notes, I forgot to mention it, I wrote it in my notes, why kill her when she's your one bargaining chip? Like, if you kill her, then there's no reason for him to keep you alive. You need to keep her alive. The longer you keep her alive, the longer you'll stay alive.
It's a bit premature, that decision, isn't it?
Yeah. And also, Arnie's blowing up buildings on this island left, right, and centre. Jenny could be in one of those buildings, right?
That's true. But also, I noticed, I'm not like some kind of expert on explosives, but from my experiences playing Modern Warfare as a teenager, those look like claymores that, like, you put down and, like, they kind of blow up if you get too close to them.
Yeah, he's got claymores,
and I thought, and then he just turns them, like, I guess you can remote them or whatever, but then he just blows up like 4 or 5 buildings with them. But I don't think that they're supposed to be that explosive. I think they're like a small explosion, like a grenade.
To be fair, even grenades are overdone in movies. I've known people in the military. I was very close friends with this American guy who served in Afghanistan, actually. but he's very liberal. He's very left wing, and he hated, you know, a lot of the shit going on out there. But he said, like, a grenade doesn't really, like, there's no fire to it. It's just when it goes, it's just loads of shrapnel. If you pardon the pun, welcome to Film Shrapnel.
Hey.
But yeah, apparently grenades are overdone in movies as well. So, like, this is the thing. It's all about the spectacle. It's all about the spectacle. You don't go to an action movie to see small, realistic explosives. You want to see mad shit. You want to smell napalm in the morning.
It's funny how, like, this is a big tangent, but it's funny how, like, our expectations have been changed by cinema. Like, one thing that always annoys me is a lot of people don't realize that, like, whenever glass gets smashed in movies, that's like glass specifically made to smash like that. Like, for example, if you've ever watched like EastEnders and someone glasses someone on their head or whatever, that's like made glass is supposed to do that. If you smack a glass on someone's head, it's probably not gonna break, but it will fucking hurt your head.
Yeah,
and like
you'll knock them out.
But the glass might be fine. And like, because like I know this, and like whenever I go shopping and I'm carrying like some bags or something, and there's like a bottle of something like a wine or whiskey or something in my bag, and like my wife will always like, "Oh, be careful, there's glass in there. Careful if you drop it or something." It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna like smash it on the ground or something stupid, but like I know it's not gonna, like, if I put it gently on the ground, there's no way I'm gonna fucking smash anything. It's built to last. It's not like in a movie where it'll just break instantly. Glass isn't so fragile. Sorry, that was a little rant I wanted to release.
No, it's true. It's true. I heard that like the movie industry, they've managed to start magnetizing them so you can actually reuse the same one over and over.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's very weird.
So you can buy just one fake bottle and just use it over and over, which obviously for like low budget filmmakers, it's perfect. It's great. It's a fantastic movie.
For sure.
I have to point out though, much like in the vein of Enter the Dragon, the good guys, the cavalry, all show up after they're needed.
Yes.
You know, the military rock up, they're like, did you save anything for us? Only bodies.
Hi.
Love
yeah.
it. And then roll credits. Jenny, let me introduce you to your new mommy.
I didn't say earlier, but you mentioning that there was like a sex scene in this is like, just imagine Arnie checking his watch. Oh, I have 5 hours left, but we can do a quickie.
Only a quickie. Just a tip. Oh.
Yeah. Maybe we should wrap this one up now.
Yeah, I was just saying, do you want to rate this thing? How many explosives out of how many rockets out of a rocket launcher would you give?
Well, at least the ones that they have in this movie seem to have 4.
Yeah.
So
out of 4 rockets.
Out of 4 rockets.
We could do it out of 37 assault rifle magazines.
Ooh, it's hard. If we're going to do it with rockets from rocket launchers and there's 4, I'll give it a 4 out of 4 because it's very fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did. The movie was very different than I expected. I watched this with no expectations. I saw the cover. I see Arnie all in cameo. I'm thinking this is going to be like just in the jungle or something because I knew that a lot of the cast that's in this movie are also in Predator. So I thought, okay, it's going to be like some jungle crazy shit happening here. Wasn't really so much that. Actually, more of it's really shot on the streets in, I don't know, probably LA or where it's supposed to be. Yeah, I quite liked it. I mean, I liked how fun it was. It's just, I don't know, Arnie in this role is quite fun. There's a lot of stupid shit that I like to laugh at, but I still watched it and enjoyed it. I'll also tell you this.
I'm turning you into an Arnie fan. You're starting to appreciate the magic of Arnie. Like, it's just good fucking fun.
But I'll tell you something a bit controversial. I think I enjoyed this more than Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, that's very no. I don't like that.
Really?
That's not okay. That's not okay. Conan the Barbarian is a work of art. It's a
Yeah,
10
but
out
this
of
is
10
just
movie.
seems more. This is just more silly, and I could just watch it and not have to think, and it's just
It
a bit
is
of
fun.
ridiculousness.
I don't disagree. I do love how fun this movie is, and it's very quippy. I'd actually forgotten just how quippy this film is. Yeah, it's a right laugh. It's a right laugh. I would also give it 4 rockets out of a rocket launcher. I'd give it maybe 30 magazines out of 37 magazines. But out of 10, what are you giving it? You got, because obviously I'm sure you're going to factor in everything, your enjoyment, how good the film is, or how not good the film is. The action's great. I think some of the action set pieces are great. We didn't even talk about when he rolls a car down a hill because they cut his brakes and killed the engine. And he's like, fuck it, I'll still make it work. And he pushes it down a mountain and still drives it. Like, fucking great. So fun.
I do like it when they're creative with the action. That's always fun. That's always makes it a bit more interesting. If I was to rate this out of 10, I will give it a 5. I think it's a fair 5. To be honest, be honest, it's a 5. It's definitely a 5. It's not more than that. You can't put it as 6. 6 has got to have a bit more cleverness to it.
No, I'm actually going to go for a 6.5.
Really? Ooh.
But the thing is, I'm factoring in my enjoyment as well. Like,
That's true.
Yes, it's not a great movie, and some of the dialogue is pretty dreadful. But like, the dialogue is a huge factor of why it's fun. Arnie is fucking awesome in this movie. The action is just he cannot be stopped. It's mental. It's like, honestly, I think Grand Theft Auto is a really good analogy for this, because you can just I remember playing the storyline of Grand Theft Auto, and eventually I'm just like, I just want to play it how I want to play it, and so I just end up holding myself up in a police station, getting myself 5 stars, seeing how long I can survive or whatever. Like, it's just mindless fucking violence. But it's to a really good cause, a lot like John Wick. Like John Wick, I'd give a 6.5, 7 sort of range. I mean, obviously, the quality of the film is better in John Wick, but I think both of them are very similar in a lot of ways, and you get a lot of the same kind of fun out of both films, but, they're just 40 years apart from each other. But I still heavily enjoy this movie, like massively enjoy Commando. But
films like this, fair play. Films like this, I was going to say, they crawled so John Wick and Taken could run. So
could run, yeah. I'll give you that.
Do you want to know its actual IMDb rating?
I'm going to guess it's a 6. No,
6.
I'm going to guess it's a 5.7.
Oh, 5.7 is even higher. I think it's probably going to be around 5. I really think it's a 5.
Commando. It's a well-liked movie, man. It's a well-liked movie.
True. My God, it's actually 6.7. So both of us are wrong. You're closer, though.
There you go. See,
I think that's a bit high, though. Yeah, it is well-liked.
Look, even I'm sat here going, yeah, okay, that's maybe a bit too high of a valuation. But, it's a very well-liked Arnie movie. And I like this movie. Like, just based on my enjoyment of it alone, it would be at least a 7, maybe even close to an 8. Because I just have a lot of fun with this movie. I can watch it anytime. It's not my favourite Arnie movie. It might crack my top 5. It's up there as one of my favourite Arnie movies. Because again, very simple, straightforward plot. They have my daughter. They shouldn't have fucking done that. I'm going to go and destroy them. Like, this is probably one of the earliest examples of this kind of plot line we have. And at the time, it was very fresh. And we didn't really see these big action heroes having a heart, having a a family or anything. They're too busy for family because they're just too busy killing, But in this one, he threw it all away in order to have that family. And we don't know where the baby mum is. We can assume that she's dead for some reason.
They never explain that, actually, at all.
They never explain it. And we can only maybe assume that maybe it was like something from his past that came and got her. Kind of like what's happening now, potentially. But they never explain it. And I kind of like that they never explain it. And I kind of like up until this point, you'd never seen Arnie with ice cream on his face. But he does such a good job at the beginning of being like the best dad in the world. Like, I was a kid when I watched this film. I wanted him to pick me up and give me a hug. And if my dad is listening to this, he'll understand. We all want Arnie to be our dad.
Your dad is saying the same thing. I also want him to pick me up.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. He's so cool. And his movies are a great laugh. Don't get me wrong, we've purposely done some stinkers for Arnie season as well. One will be in the next episode when we do Batman and Robin. I hope you guys stay tuned for that one. Thank you guys for coming out and listening to us. We are Film Shrapnel, and I fucking love Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm so glad we're doing Arnie season. And, tune in, because next year there will be another season. The seasons always roll back. They always roll back.
Yeah.
So
I think
next year we'll do another Arnie season.
I think around this time of year we did like a Jackie Chan season as well, didn't we? So it's kind of in tone a little bit, like an action star's
they have been in a movie
career
together recently.
Yeah, but I've heard it's not so good though. But maybe we should watch it at some point. Yeah. I think it's also got some other famous people in it as well.
I know it's got Jason Fleming, who's that English actor, but he's also Russian. Like, fluent Russian speaker. But he's in lots of Two Smoking Barrels and...
Yeah, I know him, yeah. He's in quite a few things here and there,
he's in
that guy.
Transporter 2 as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, well, we are Film Shrapnel. Go check us out on all the social medias and all that. My name's Tobias. This is my partner in crime, Craig. And I'm Arnold. Go watch my movies. I sounded more like Kermit the Frog then.
Arnie doing a kind of frog impression.
Someday I'll find it, the rainbow connection.
Oh dear.
Arnie, remake the Muppets now.
Oh, he could just play all of the characters.
Oh yeah.
Will his hands fit inside the puppets?
No, his hands are too big. His hands are too manly and macho. All right,
his fingers can just stick out the sides.
Yeah, we'll accept that. That's fine. We need the money shot. We need to see Arnie as part of the Muppet.
Look, there's an Arnie finger.
Or maybe, yeah, exactly. Be like, oh, I recognise that finger. Well, until next time, let off some steam. Bye.
I'll be back. Bye.
Shrapnel.